Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be able to talk about a new release that's just come out by Paul McCartney. It's a release that's been out in different lesser forms over the past decade or so. This one is really the one to get. This is the official one. It's a wonderful new live performance by Paul on CD called Amoeba Gig. And the show itself isn't new, it's 12 years old. It was performed June 27th of 2007 in Los Angeles, California at the store for records called AMOEBA. So it was really an intimate setting where customers waited online to come in and to stand in the record aisles. And you're basically doing standing room only amongst the CDs and the vinyl and the tapes, and just standing in the aisles watching Paul perform. Among the people in attendance were also Ringo Starr, Woody Harrelson, and I think I spotted in some of the footage that's around Alanis Morissette. So we had celebrities mingling with the regular customers and just getting to be up close to Paul and see this wonderful show. Now, this has been out in various forms, as I've said, over the years, and I'll tell you a little history of that. The first one I believe that came out was in 2007, the same year, probably November, after the show, and it was a four-track EP, which I bought, and it has only four songs on it. And the quality, I think, was deliberately kind of a lesser quality to make it more like a bootleg type of deal, make it feel more like that. Uh, and that's all history now because the sound has really been amazingly remixed by the sound engineer Steve Orchard, and it's really great sound. If you're worried about that, if you had the old one, but that was 2007. Before I get too ahead of myself, let me say in 2010, this came out a longer version. I think it was 12 tracks, a free version you could get from the UK Daily Mail, I think, and that was a little more they give it. And well, this one here has 21 tracks. This is pretty much the full show, I believe. And the weird thing about this is if you buy the vinyl edition, you get a live sound check track extra. So this is a rare case, and it doesn't happen very often that I remember, where if you buy the vinyl, you get the extra cut on the album instead of getting an extra with the CD. That's a switch. But other than that, I'm going to go through this, talk about the contents, and some more history. Let's see. This was also nominated. Two songs were nominated, I should say, back in 2009 at the Grammys. Two tracks that are on this from the past when it came out in the EP form. One of them was "That Was Me," and the other one was "I Saw Her Standing There." Two songs nominated at the Grammys. They didn't win, but they were nominated. Uh, Now the band on this is really tight. Band is very good. It's the same bands but that Paul's been using now for quite a number of years, going back 2001 maybe 2000. It's a long time. And we have Rusty Anderson on guitar and vocals, Abel Laboriel Jr., wonderful drummer who's a lot of fun on drums and vocals. Brian Ray plays guitar, bass, and vocals, and we have David Arch on the keyboards. And one thing I got to point out right from the beginning is that Paul is in top form here. He sounds fantastic. His attitude is great. His rapport with the audience is spot on, and his voice is just good, really good on this. In recent years, I've been down a little bit on Paul's voice. I take it pretty much venue to venue. I kind of like try to judge based from one show to the next how Paul is sounding. He's older now. His voice has been kind of raspy doing live performances, at least since 2010 or so, maybe even a little earlier, but it's been hit and miss. But this is really hit. Okay, I don't know if it's been sweetened up. I don't think it has in that regard. He really sounds good. Before I get to talking just a little bit more about the tracks, there's not really that much to see with the CD here. You open it up, and that's what the CD looks like. There's the back where you see the songs kind of listed. As I say, there's one missing here. That's an extra on the vinyl if you want to spend the extra money to get that. The sound quality is good. You got nothing to worry about with that. I'm to the point now where, as somebody who's really fond of the Beatles and ex-Beatles, when people ask me in the future, Joe, what do you think is a really good Paul McCartney live show that I should get? I might go right to this. This is going to be my go-to disc from now on, insofar as the quality is concerned. A good show, a good performance, and a lot of fun. Okay, so you already know how I feel about it before I even go through the tracks. But we're going to go through the songs now. I'm not going to talk about every single one of them, but first we have Drive My Car, the Beatles classic. Drive My Car, some may be shocked to know, some already know. It's not one of my favorite Beatle tracks, Drive My Car, but the version here is really strong, and it's really a great way to open. Second track is a song from Paul's album that was new at the time in 2007, Memory Almost Full, and it's a song called Only Mama Knows. It's a real heavy rocker in the style of Get Back, Junior's Farm, that kind of. It's like a relative to those songs. I love that song, and while I'm at it, a bunch of these songs are going to be from Memory Almost Full. It's a really good McCartney album from 2007. I recommend you check that out. So Only Mama Knows here, great strong rocking performance. Then third track is Dance Tonight. Dance Tonight is also one of the more commercial singles, you might say, from the Memory Almost Full album, and it's always a treat to hear Paul do that. It's a lot of fun. Good performance here. Number four, Paul goes back to a song that he enjoys doing a lot. He does it in sound checks, and he's done it live a lot in regular concerts, and it's a song called Sea Moon. Sea Moon is the B side of the single that was called High, 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 and I think it's an acquired taste, Sea Moon. I love it. I have a lot of fun with it. But this particular version here has a little more of an edge to it than the original B side on the single. So I really like the version here. Then you get track five, The Long and Winding Road, Beatles classic, which to me, it's one of those songs that, I hear it so much. It's so overplayed. But really respectable version here. Really lovely version from Paul. Number six, Beatles song from '64, I'll Follow the Sun, which Paul was doing live, around this time. And I must tell you, the version here is just wonderful. It's a little, to me anyway, slightly more quicker pace, maybe, give or take. But I love the version here. Very good version. And of course, Paul teases us at the end of I'll Follow the Sun with you'll see if you don't already know, it's a couple of passes of trying to do the last verse, the closing of the song, just for laughs, and that's always a treat when he does that. Number seven, a song called Calico Skies, which is one of the highlights from Paul's 1997 album called Flaming Pie, one of the best in his entire canon. If you're a Paul fan and you have not heard Flaming Pie, do yourself a favor now, get it immediately. Okay, Calico Skies, beautiful version here with the band helping out. Number eight, the song that I kind of referred to earlier called That Was Me. That Was Me is a song from Memory Almost Full, again, a new song at the time of the concert. I would personally say that, it's not one of the strongest tracks on the album, but the version here really kicks ass. It is really, really an intense version, and I really like it. Uh, Number nine, we have Blackbird. Anybody ever hear of Blackbird? I think it's a little song you might know. Another Beatles staple, classic from the White Album. And Paul does a very nice version of it here. Number 10 is a wonderful moment. Number 10 is the track called Here Today. And Here Today, as many of you know, was a tribute to John Lennon. It's the song that Paul put on his Tug of War album from 1982. And it was him kind of imagining a conversation that he and John might have had. A wonderful, beautiful tribute to John Lennon. And this time, I don't remember him saying this before, I could be wrong, but on this particular show, Paul dedicates the song not just to John, but also to other people that we've lost. George Harrison, and also his former wife, Linda. And that alone kind of sets it up for kind of a heart-wrenching experience. But what's special about this version is, Paul, even now in concert, kind of tears up sometimes when he does this song because it's so emotional. But this particular one has him breaking down towards the end of the show. You could audibly hear it, and it's such a touching moment for everybody. I think between the fact that he dedicated it to all those people who passed, and also the fact that this is a very intimate setting, and even Ringo is out there, his friend and former bandmate. It's got to be touching. So it's really wonderful. Even Paul acknowledges at the end of the song, "Hey, we're all adults here. It's okay to cry, right?" Beautiful. I get goosebumps just thinking of it. After that, we go to track 11. We pick things up and try to, get into it again with "Back in the USSR," classic Beatles song, wonderful version again. Number 12 is a curio. It's a song called "Nod Your Head." It's kind of just a gag type of track that Paul tagged on at the end of his Memory Almost Full album in '07. And it's very short. I don't know if it's a minute, just a little over a minute. It's not very long, but it's kind of a gimmicky song that requires the audience to involve themselves in it. So that's the funny part of it. That's enjoyable. Number 13, I want to talk about a wonderful track again from the Memory Almost Full album that he's promoting here, "House of Wax." It may require a couple of listens, but if you listen to the intensity and the mood of this song, along with Paul's vocal inflections, it absolutely is gut wrenching in a good way, for lack of a. It just really, really gets to you. And Paul does a phenomenal vocal performance on this. It's stupendous on the album itself, and it's marvelous here on this "House of Wax." Number 14, "I've Got a Feeling," the classic from the Let It Be album with the Beatles song. And I always love when Paul does "I've Got a Feeling," and this is one of the best live versions of it that I've ever heard. So that's good. And track 15, uh, Paul takes on the Ringo vocal song "Matchbox," the Carl Perkins rock and roll classic, and does a very nice, respectable version of Matchbox here. Then we take a little break for track 17, goofing off in between. He does "Babyface." It's not the first time that Paul has done the old song "Babyface." Yeah, you've got the cutest little Babyface track. He's done that even as far back as I remember. I think it was the "One Hand Clapping" in the '70s. He refers to that every once in a while. Now, 18 is a song which everybody loves, but if you're like me, you're kind of a little tired of hearing it in concert from Paul. It's "Hey Jude." Anybody ever hear of it? you know, "Hey Jude," though, the version here is just right. Even though you've heard it, if you're like me, a million times, and you've been to so many Paul shows, and you've been going through this with him many, many times, and you know the routine. Yeah, all right, now the guys sing, now the girls sing, now everybody sing. Yeah, you were great, you were great, you were great, you were terrific. But this time is really it's not too long, it's not too short, it's perfect, and it's a great performance of it. Number 19 is "Let It Be." Uh, "Let It Be" is another good version. I don't know why I want to say it's not my favorite version I've heard Paul do, but still within the context of all of this, it fits perfectly and works just wonderfully. Lady Madonna's track 20. Lady Madonna is Lady Madonna, always entertaining when Paul does it. Final track on this album, CD, is "I Saw Her Standing There," the Beatles rock and roll classic. Really powerful, energized version. That's how the show ends on the CD. As I said, if you get the vinyl version, you get one more track, which is a sound check of "Coming Up," that Paul did. And I have the vinyl version. I have not played the vinyl version yet, so I don't really know how good or not that sounds. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, full points for this. Pick it up if you're a McCartney fan. Don't delay. Get it today. I'm really hoping that at some point, if this show, and I have to think it was filmed, recorded, a video, at the store, the whole thing, I would love a DVD, Blu-ray, home video presentation of this show. AMOEBA gig. One of the best things out there on the market for Paul. Thanks, folks.